Welcome to Apex to Oval for your weekly motorsports news recap. We have some great things in store for this week. We have 3 NASCAR articles, 3 F1 articles. We have a recap of the truck race, a recap of the Cup race, and a recap of the IndyCar race, with some predictions sprinkled in as well. So, as you can see, this is now professional. We have my news notes. Totally real. Totally real. But we do have the news notes. Anyway, let's get into it. Oh, I'm Alex, your host, and this is Jack, my co-host. I don't know what side he's going to be on, so I'm just going to do that. All right. Let's get into our first NASCAR article. We have Harrison Burton, an article by Fox News, saying that he would not be ruling out the Indy 500. I don't really know why this is newsworthy, but it is, according to Fox News. It basically was just saying Burton said, "I'd like to race at," and that success at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and that he would love an opportunity to race an IndyCar. Or any series. He said, "I watch F1 every weekend that I can, IndyCar as much as I can, Rallycross, holy, Formula E, motocross, everything. I love it for sure if that opportunity came." I'm going to be honest, I don't think the opportunity is going to be coming for Harrison Burton. I don't think so. But you're not a Kyle Larson.
I mean, he had some pretty strong sponsorship. I don't know if he still does from like Dex Imaging. And I know that they do some indie stuff, but I don't think that's going to be enough to get a guy who couldn't stick in the Cup Series a one-off Indy 500 ride.
You're not Kyle Larson level.
Or Bush.
You're not even Kyle Busch level.
Yeah.
Or anyone in the Cup. Actually, you know what? You're on Cody Ware's level. Or Corey LaJoie's. That's not really saying anything. So,
Well, Cody Ware is related to a team owner. In
yeah,
both series, sort of.
that is true.
So, it might even be below Cody Ware level as far as likelihood.
Well, speaking of Cody Ware's relation to a NASCAR owner, great transition. Harrison Burton is going to be racing for Rick Ware Racing for the NASCAR All-Star Race this Sunday. Yeah, he's going to be Rick Ware Racing. Rick Ware Racing is what I'm going to call it now. Rick Ware Racing. And it's
I mean, who else was he going to drive for?
Nobody.
That's not how the All-Star race works. Guys come back.
Don't want him to come back. He's not good.
Like a few years ago when Justin Haley won the flukiest win of all time, he had to come back and race for someone in the All-Star race. It's good for the team.
Wait a minute.
Because they're guaranteed to make the main race.
If you win the previous year, you guarantee.
Yeah.
So stupid.
That's how the All-Star race works. That's why there are only 20 cars that are going to be in the race.
That is so dumb.
Yeah, so if you win, or there's some other criteria, but if you win, you're guaranteed to be in the main All-Star race. Otherwise, there's a fan vote to be entered in. And there's the All-Star Open beforehand, where, so like for Rick Ware, their other car, the 15, Cody Ware is moving from the 51 to the 15 for the All-Star race weekend, and he's going to be racing in the All-Star Open. But now Rick Ware gets their like flagship number, the 51, in the All-Star race guaranteed by having Harrison Burton be their like rotating driver for the week. So it's a good thing for the Rick Ware team. It's a terrible car, and I don't think Burton would have had much of a chance to win anyway. But if he's going to be in it somehow. Yeah.
Could you not just say no?
Who?
Burton. He's not needed.
Why? why would he say no? He gets to race for a shot at $1 million and race back on the Cup stage for a week. It is still $1 million, right?
I don't know that part, but I know why he would want to race, but like for my sake, can he just say no? Because he's just going to be a back marker, and he's probably going to wreck someone.
Why do you feel so strongly about Harrison Burton?
I don't like Harrison Burton, guys. I don't know what to say. I do not like him.
He may not be the fastest, but he isn't like he isn't a menace on track. He's a fine, safe driver. He's got talent. He definitely earned a shot in Cup when he came up. Obviously didn't necessarily deserve to keep it. But like he was good in Xfinity his first time around. He was kind of fine, but not great in Cup.
No, you know what? No. To be fair, I do have an edit saved on my phone of Harrison Burton winning that one race versus Kyle Busch with the "I Did It My Way" by Frank Sinatra in the background. It was a beautiful edit. I do have to say that was actually a beautiful moment because his dad was like, "Jeff, your little boy has done it." That's like the only good thing that came out of NASCAR.
Hey, no, Harrison Burton, I think he's well deserving of like an Xfinity ride. I think he's in that Cole Custer tier where he's a fine driver. So I just don't know if he has the talent to stick in Cup.
I think he's fine in Xfinity, but I don't think he should be back in Cup.
And he seems like a nice guy, and he generally keeps the car clean. Like he's not a detriment to the series.
Fair, and I do think he is really good in Xfinity, but I don't think he's good enough to be in the Cup at all.
Well, luckily this is the All-Star race and not a real race.
Well, that's even a thing. Anyway, on to our third NASCAR article. Layne was disqualified after finishing second at Kansas for the Truck Series, according to sources, and by sources I mean the internet, and the
according to NASCAR,
or whatever they call it, according to NASCAR too, yeah. The bed cover in because the truck, you got like the car, you got the car, and you got the bed thing, right? The bed cover was not strong enough, and so he got disqualified for that because it needs to be able to like hold a certain amount, and then it also needs to be like covering all this space, and it wasn't strong enough. So he is now disqualified from the truck race this past week.
It's unfortunate. It was a really good run. I mean, I don't know if we'll talk about that race in a little bit, but he was good.
He was very good, especially at that last stint. He was really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, he started like in the middle of the pack and just outran everyone for the whole end of the race, and just wasn't quite enough to get past Hocevar. He got right up next to him. Luckily didn't end the race for either of them, and stayed in second. But it was a really enjoyable finish. But we'll talk about that more in a second. It's a shame to see it end like this for him, the driver. Obviously for the team, it seems like it was deserved. So
yeah. On to F1. So if you remember last week's podcast, you would see that we were like, oh, it might be confirmed, but it also might not be, because people started, like, I forget what the publication was that said it, but one of the publications said that Jack Doohan was gone and Franco was in. And then another, I think, was it the BBC? No.
BBC also reported it, yeah.
Yeah, the BBC also reported it.
But at the same time, there were a bunch of other sources saying it was, like, speculated or might be coming and not confirmed.
Yeah. Well, it was confirmed. Jack Doohan is out. Franco Colapinto is in. And all I have to say is, Alpine, you have stooped to Red Bull's level.
And
all you had to do was ask Pierre Gasly how it felt to be dropped mid-season, and just not drop Doohan until the end of the season.
And Franco's only on a 5-race contract.
Yeah.
Like, they
that's the other
may
thing.
extend him. But, like, what's the plan?
Paul Aaron is the plan.
Are they just going to rotate all of their development drivers with no
At
warning?
this point, yeah. This is just not a good look for Alpine at all. I posted on my TikTok, my motorsports TikTok, and I was like, sell the team. Like, this is at the right point where if you cannot handle respecting the drivers, you sell it. Sell the team to someone who would respect them. You know, I bet that me and a lot of motorsports fans would love to pull together the money to buy an F1 team, and we'll treat them right, you know. But no, they it's just not a good look at all.
Oh, it's a whole mess over there.
Yeah, no.
They also
Also, I forgot about this too. This was going to be in it. Actually, I completely forgot this. Their team principal resigned because his brother was arrested in the UK, and apparently he fled out of the UK. Flavio Briatore, I think
Briatore, I think, because it's an Italian name. But
so Flavio Briatore got banned from F1 16 years ago, or 10 years in 2008. Or no,
deservedly so.
Yeah, 2008. Deservedly so for something called Crashgate, right? Where Alonso's teammate crashed, so Alonso could win. Also, that like spiraled so that Felipe Massa lost the driver's title that year. But he's back. He's the team principal for Alpine. So we are on full degeneracy right now.
Not to mention, he is notably the person that was pushing hardest to replace Doohan with Colapinto. And he's Doohan's manager.
Yeah.
I don't.
What's going on?
I don't even know where to start with this team, man. It's a train wreck. It's Red Bull levels of
degeneracy.
It's Red Bull levels of driver management combined with just rare disaster everywhere else. Like I don't even know what team to compare it to. It's like Ferrari on track, but off track.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like Ferrari strategy, but just in all aspects of running a team.
Yeah. It's rough out there in Alpine land. On to our second F1 article. The F1 25 ratings, the driver ratings, were released by EA Sports. Obviously, you had Max at a 95 overall. I still don't know why they can't give people 99s. Like, I don't understand that. But Max is at 95, Lando's at 91, Charles is at 91, George is at 90, Carlos is at 90. Those are deserved. And then you have Lewis at an 89, which, to be fair, you could say is deserved. I would say you could make a case to move him a little higher. You could also make a case for him to move lower. Fernando is somehow at an 88. This is purely based off of 05 and 06. Because there is no way you're telling me a man who barely got into the points last year in any race is an 88 overall. Yes, the car is garbage. Well, Piastri's an 87. Gasly's an 86. Ocon's an 85. Hulkenberg's 84. Albon is an 83 overall. Why is he so low? Well, that's my question. Yuki's an 82. Liam Lawson is somehow an 80. He should be a 69. Or 68, or 67, or 70. Like, put him in that range. Not that good of a driver. Lance Stroll's a 78, and you know what? That's low for Lance Stroll. I know everyone likes to hate on him. That is low. That man has been putting this damn Aston Martin, this tractor, in the points this year. Make him an 80. Make him above. Make him like an 83, 84. Move Alonso down. Move Lance up more. Ollie, and then you have all the rookies, the 5 rookies. You have Ollie at a 74, Gabriel at a 74, Doohan at a 73, but he's no longer at Alpine. Kimi at a 72, and Hajar at a 68. I don't. The rookies are whatever. I mean, I would personally, for me, I'd put Kimi on the same level as Behrman and Bortoletto.
I think that I think looking at these ratings, the only explanation is that they made them before the season, and besides updating the teams for Yuki and Lawson, they have not touched them since.
Yep. Yeah.
Because I can understand this if this is coming directly from last year, and then you add in the typical like public perception adjustment for like an Alonso. But even with that, Albon should be higher, right?
Yep.
Even with that, Ocon feels surprisingly high to me. I feel like I almost would nudge him lower, but like
Ocon's rating seems like it was made from this year more than, you know what I mean? Like Ocon's rating seems like it was made this year.
Yeah, I mean, I still then would like nudge Behrman up. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Behrman and Kimi need to get moved up.
And
Bortoletto,
I understand the rating for Bortoletto. I think that Sauber is so bad that you can't really comment on either of their drivers. But he obviously, won championships on his way up. I feel like Hajar should definitely not be the lowest rated driver, but I feel like that should be Lawson right now. So I don't know. And Antonelli definitely shouldn't be below Doohan or Bortoletto right now, I don't think. But it's...
I think also if you're basing it off of this year, Carlos wouldn't be a 90. He'd be decently lower.
Yeah,
only
and I think he'd be even with Albon.
Only because he had a rough start. Yeah, no, I'd put Albon. If it was based off of this year, I'd put Albon above him. Just by an overall or two. But
even
I wouldn't
if you'd go like back to like last year, I mean, Albon obviously was in the Williams, and that's a slow car, but he's been driving really well in that Williams. He's been outperforming the car, and Sainz has started to do that as well this year, like in the last couple weeks. But it's like Albon is good.
I mean, the reason why I like Albon is currently 8th in the points with 30. That's more than Williams got all of last year. And then Sainz is in 13th with 7.
And that's after the first, 4 weeks being basically a wash for him.
Yeah. Well, he was getting used to the car, so. But yeah, if you look at the standings, some of it makes it that, I don't know. It's weird. I don't like the rate. The ratings seem, I don't know.
I just hate the rookie ratings, but I feel like they've got to be updated, right? They've got to change some of them.
Within the first month, I guarantee you they're going to be updated.
Because I'm sure Piastri is going to get a well-deserved bump up with how handily he's outperforming Lando so far.
Lawson is going to get a bump down.
You'd
Stroll's
hope so.
going to get a bump up. I hope Stroll would get a bump up.
I don't know what adjustment Yuki would get. I would have thought he'd deserve higher than an 82 based on how he was in the sister team car. His performance in the Red Bull so far isn't exactly inspiring.
No, but it's not terrible.
Yeah.
It's not awful. It's just, not good.
Well, and he got bit by that first lap DNF and whatever else.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
It's a mess.
Yep. On to our third and final F1 article. Pirelli is to introduce a C6 tire, a new soft, if this tire does work, at the Imola Grand Prix. Pretty much, the Pirelli has 5 tires. You have, technically...
7 when you include...
It's 7 including the wet tires. Yeah, thank you. I was trying to figure out how to say it. So it's 7 including the wet tires, and then you have C1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where C1 is the hardest, C5 is the softest, and they're introducing a new C6 this weekend at Imola. My opinion, bring back the gay rainbow tires. I want you know what I'm talking. There's gonna be right above where I'm at, right above, or like right in the middle, or wherever. There's just gonna be a big, like, picture of what I'm talking about, but there used to be like 10 sets of tires, and they were all different colors, and the teams had unlimited picks of all the tires. It was amazing. Bring them back.
I'm for it. I think it would be really interesting at some races to see, like, if you just pick a ridiculously hard compound and just send it for like the full race.
Yeah. And then like send it for the full race, and then the final like 3 laps, pit C10. Boom, like the ultra softs. Bro, there's a clip somewhere on the internet somewhere, and it's Lewis Hamilton with the soft, like the C, like whatever, like ultra soft tires. Dog, rapid. Like you want a track record beat, you put the car in a ultra soft and go vroom. Oh my god. See, I wish they had that, because I'm gonna buy an F1 game where I can have those tires, the tire options.
But yeah, I mean, the only concern is that these cars haven't run it before. They weren't available in testing or anything like that.
Yes. Yeah. We'll see how it works at Imola though. So.
Yeah.
On to race recaps. Let's start with the Heart of Healthcare 200, the truck race that happened on Saturday. Jack, who do you predict to win?
I had Corey Heim. You let me have him for once, so I jumped at the opportunity.
And I got Raja Caruth. Heim finished 3rd. Caruth finished 21st. Not a good day on my part, but I wanted him to get his get pack. He did not. Your winner was Carson Hocevar. Your remaining top 10 was Byron at 2nd, Corey Heim, Gio Ruggiero, Stuart Friesen, Brandon Jones, Jake Garcia, Caden Honeycutt, Grant Enfinger, and Daniel Hemrick in 10th. Your DNFs were Tanner Gray, Frankie Muniz, Nathan Bird, and Luke Baldwin. Now, I'm going to be very honest with this entire thing. I watched 0 racing this past weekend because, and I have an excuse. I've prepared my excuse. On Saturday, basically all day, I was at Lime Rock Park with my dad, who was at a track day, and
so you watched racing. You just didn't watch televised racing.
I didn't watch televised racing. So I was there for a while, and then we came back, and then we ate dinner, and then I laid on my bed, and then I laid on my bed, and then I chilled and just didn't do anything. I was like just watching YouTube and just like sleeping. And on Sunday, my sister had her graduation during the Cup race. So, oh yeah, congrats to Jack for graduating.
I also missed the Cup race, but I think I also had a pretty good reason for that.
Yeah, you had a good reason, I had a good reason. We can still recap the Cup race. I mean, it's pretty easy to recap it, so.
But we'll get there.
But yeah, we'll get there. Jack, what happened during the truck race?
So I did get to watch this one, and it was actually kind of a banger. I'm not gonna lie. So the main takeaway is the Cup guys are good. Hocevar and Byron, good. Spire teammates, a little less good. Like, I think it was this week, it was Perez and Caruth were the other 2 Spire drivers versus Hocevar Byron. And there was a pretty, I mean, like, you could tell Cup guy talent really takes over. But Corey Heim, I think, could have won this race. He got unlucky throughout the whole day. He had a penalty for something to do with his pit gun, or not a penalty. Like the pit gun just broke, and so he had like a really slow stop. And then later on, and the reason I said penalty is he got a lane penalty for switching lanes before the restart, like before crossing the line on a restart. And his argument for it was that he was following Tony Breidinger, who jumped out of line early, but that's not actually a valid excuse. You can be frustrated that someone else jumped out of line, and I get that it's hard to see it in the car, but that's a deserved penalty, and he served it. Somehow, even after serving the penalty, he still charged up to fourth on track, third after the Riggs disqualification. But wasn't quite enough to come back and win the race from that, because that, a late penalty is never going to be easy to overcome. The battle at the end, we alluded to it earlier a little, but Carson Hocevar was kind of running away with the race, and Layne Riggs, who started kind of middle of the pack on that last restart, over that last stretch, he was just charging up to the front, to the point where on the last lap, he was at the, like, he was kind of inside of Carson Hocevar to battle for the lead. Didn't quite have enough to actually get past him and clear him, but he did end up making some contact and driving them both up into the wall. Luckily, he didn't turn him and didn't hit the wall hard enough that either of them spun out. So they were able to keep going, and the gap ended up being like a quarter of a second, I think, at the end, versus they were like neck and neck when Riggs made that move. But I personally think it's great to see that move tried, right? Rubbing is racing, all of that. You want to see that stuff in NASCAR. I'm really happy to be able to see that kind of racing and not have it end someone's day or bring out the caution, and have them both continue and finish the race in the order that they deserve to finish after that move went how it did.
Yeah. I also know that Carson Hocevar flipped off Layne Riggs the entire
I think that's just
last
racing.
lap.
I think that's just racing. Like after that move happened, because afterwards,
I thought it was hilarious. I didn't even know that, and then I go on YouTube and I'm like, oh, that happened, I guess.
Because afterwards, Hocevar was super complimentary of Riggs, and they like laughed about it and all of that. That's just being in a race car and having someone come up and hit you. You know what I mean? Like that's how any driver in the series is gonna react. But no, I thought it was a really great battle. I thought it was that last stretch was really, really fun to watch. And yeah, I mean, Heim got unlucky. The other person who got a lane penalty at the end, Tony Breidinger, also managed to charge up a decent amount. I think she made it into the top 20 by the end, which I was a little surprised. Obviously, I was tracking Corey Heim going up because he was in the top 10, top 5. And both he and Riggs were really charging forward. But I remember looking towards the end and being surprised that she also was able to fight her way back from that penalty, at least a little bit.
P20.
P20? Okay. I mean, you still had 27 trucks finish. I think she must have lost some on the last couple laps. But I don't know. Good race. It wasn't like pure domination by the Cup guys, but it also was still, you could see that talent gap play out on track. It's nice to see Carson Hocevar win something. I mean, obviously we've had our gripes with his driving at some other points in the season, but I think we still both like the guy.
Yeah, I still like Hocevar. Yeah. No, Hocevar during the Daytona race really, during the rain delay, that really solidified my liking towards him.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, it's nice to see him back. I always like seeing him run the trucks because it reminds me of when he was at Nice Motorsports. And kind of when Nice was at their best, I think. But it's nice to see him run in these other series where he's not saddled with Spire Cup equipment, and he's actually, in the trucks, the truck is good enough to win a race or to run up front, and that's where he can really show off his talent. He beat out Byron in this race. in the same equipment.
And that's hard, to do because Byron's damn good.
He is incredible.
Byron's so good.
This was a good race. It was a good.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was gonna say Byron's especially good in like the lower series as well, comparative to like he's really good in the Cup, but when he goes to the lower series, it's just scary.
That's true of a lot of the Elite Cup guys too, because that talent gap, like sometimes you think that more of it's the car than it is, and then you see them hop into a JRM or essentially JRM car, and they're running laps around the JRM guys. You know what I mean? Like
Larson trying to lap the entire grid.
It's incredible. Speaking of Larson lapping the entire grid, you wanna move on to the Cup race?
Yeah, let's go on to the Cup race. So there's the Advent Health 400. Jack, who did you have?
I had Bubba. I wanted to see him repeat his performance at Kansas from a few years ago. And I'm going to tell you right now, that did not happen.
Yeah. I had Chastain, and he didn't do too hot either. Bubba DNF'd, and Ross finished in 18th, so our predictions were nowhere near close. Your winner was Kyle Larson, and your remaining top 10 was Christopher Bell in P2, then Ryan Blaney, Chase Briscoe, Alex Bowman, Josh Berry, Ryan Preece, Chris Buescher, Joey Logano, John Hunter Nemechek in 10th. And your DNFs were Eric Jones, Bubba, Daniel Suarez, Ty Dillon, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, and AJ Allmendinger. Did he really? Hold up. Am I getting that wrong or right? Hold up. Yeah, Denny Hamlin did DNF. Okay, cool. Good to see the Connecticut boys in the top 10. Ryan Preece is having, I feel like, a career year for some reason.
He's finally in decent equipment, really.
I love it.
Because he only went to Stuart Haas when they went down the drain, basically.
And I love seeing Ryan Preece do good. Joe Logano also got a top 10, which is nice, seeing as a Connecticut king. Sad Denny and Bubba DNF'd, but it is what it is.
Also want to highlight Chase Briscoe.
Oh, yeah.
Good race car driver. Josh Berry has been really good this year. Still happy whenever I see him up in that top 10. And John Hunter Nemechek just popping up in 10th.
Back top 10s.
Yeah.
Good on him. I'm gonna save everyone from watching the race who haven't watched it yet. Kyle Larson domination is pretty much what took place. And it's not pretty much, it is what took place. Kyle Larson domination in Kansas.
He led 221 of 267 laps. He, I think, maxed out on points for the weekend with 61. Like, he got every single point possible. Swept the stages. I assume got the... Because they're still doing the fastest lap point, right?
Yeah, he got... Yeah, 60. That's gross.
Like, this was just one of those... And it's funny to come a year... I believe a year after he won in the closest finish in the history of NASCAR
Yes.
At Kansas.
Yes, it is. Yes.
But and the final margin, because Larson was managing his tires, the final margin was decently close, but it was a dominant day.
The NASCAR, I'm not gonna say GOAT because he only has one championship, but de facto best driver in NASCAR for a reason.
Yeah. And I still have confidence in that man in an IndyCar, in an F1 car. Put him in anything, and he'll drive it. He is an insane talent.
So good. On to the IndyCar race. Jack, who do you have for the IndyCar race?
For the IndyCar race, I had, I believe, Christian Lundgaard.
That is correct.
In my constant search for someone other than Alex Palou to pick to win a race.
I will forever pick Alex Palou. And I had Alex Palou. Christian Lundgaard finished in 16th. Alex Palou in first. Your remaining podium was Pato O'Ward and Will Power. and your DNS from Marcus Ericsson, Colton Herta, Jacob Abel, and David Malukas. Yeah. I heard it was a very good... I heard... So, I didn't watch much of it. Like, I kind of popped in here and there. I heard it was a terrible race the first, like, 2/3 of the race, and then it was a really good race the last third. Is what I've heard.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, like, the, it started while I was taking photos, because I took a lot of photos, at the Lime Rock, and it, like, kind of, when the big portion of the race was going is when me and my dad were packing up for the day.
Yeah,
So,
it was just a late caution that bunched the field up. But it was always the same story. Palou built up a crazy lead. I think when the caution came out, it was a 10-second lead, which is, a lot. And then he, like, so that bunched the field together, and then he immediately just put up a gap again out front. But a caution coming out is still going to bring intrigue and a lot of fun racing. I think it's a little funny that I picked Lundgaard in the 1 week that finally Pato O'Ward finishes in the top 3, but Lundgaard falls out of the top few.
yeah. Here's the good thing, though. It's for people who are like, oh, Alex Palou's dominating too much. This sport's boring, a.k.a. me. There's going to be some good races coming up because there's going to be a couple of ovals. And Palou is naturally not as good as he is at ovals as
Indy 500 is next on the calendar in a couple weeks, right?
Yep. It's in 2 weeks. We got this weekend, and then it's the next weekend.
And Palou, like, his car seems good for it. I wouldn't necessarily count him out, but yeah, there are ovals coming up. There are breaks coming up. Obviously, it's a spec series, so there's only so much you can do with any kind of car difference, but he's not going to dominate every single week of the season.
Yeah. Let's do predictions. Yeah? Predictions? Alright, let's start with the truck predictions. There is the 250 lap Window World 250 taking place at North Wilkesboro Speedway this Saturday, May 17th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Your previous winner last year was Corey Heim, and I have Kyle Busch.
Yeah, I'm picking Heim. I think that those feel like the two best picks, right?
Yep.
Because Busch, you never want to pick against him in a truck. That's always going to be a good decision. And besides him, I mean, Heim is the reigning winner of this race. He hasn't really won too much lately. I guess relative to being, the best driver in the series, quote unquote. But he's still up there more often than not.
Yeah.
Like, even this past week, he had race-winning speed. He just had... Even if it was one thing happen, like, even if it was just the pit gun or the lane penalty, it might have been a different story. Like, really, if it was just the pit gun, because the penalty, there's... that kind of equalizes things. But he's good, man.
Yeah. Corey Heim should be in the Xfinity Series right now, but that's, we're not going to talk about that right now.
Completely agree. Honestly, watching how William Sawalich has been, I feel like do a little swap and no one would complain.
I think that should happen. On to the Cup race that's happening this week. It is the 250 lap NASCAR All-Star Race taking place again at North Wilkesboro Speedway, except it's this Sunday, May 18th at 8 p.m. Eastern. There's also the other thing, which is
the All-Star Open.
The All-Star Open, which is at 5:30 on Sunday, and that's 100 laps. Your previous... I don't think that's true. Oh, no, that is true. Your previous winner was Joey Logano, and I have from last year, and I have Joey Logano.
Yeah, Joey has this knack for winning at the first time at a track. It's kind of impressive. I'm going to pick Chase Elliott. I don't know. I feel like it would be fitting for the most popular driver. I think he still is the most popular driver. I actually should check that. I just kind of assume it at this point. But I feel like it would be fitting for him to win there. He's been pretty good at some shorter tracks in the past, and I don't really know who else I'd pick because the All-Star race is kind of a weird one.
Yeah. And then the final one that we cover is F1, which is the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, aka the Imola Grand Prix, 63 laps this Sunday, May 18th at 9 a.m. Eastern. Your previous winner was Max Verstappen. Yeah, sorry, dude, I'm messing up because I wrote that last week and I'm like, is that true? Yes, it is true. Max Verstappen won last year, and I'm gonna go with Oscar Piastri. He is the hot hand. He's won 3 in a row. He is pretty much the best driver with the best car in F1 this season, and I don't think there's anything stopping him except for there's nothing going to stop him at this point. So I got Piastri.
Yeah, I really don't know who I'd pick. I was really flip-flopping between Lando, I really didn't want to pick Max just because, I don't know, this doesn't feel like one of those tracks where he'd just turn in that insane lap and really way outperform the car. But, he's obviously an option up there. Maybe even throw in a Ferrari pick if they magically just bring some speed because it's an Italy race. It's literally at Ferrari track, right? Like the track, I believe the track itself is named after Ferrari. But I decided to go with our Italian king, Italian representation in the field, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, to maybe even he gets his first real pole and wins from that. But maybe he turns in a great performance for his first of 2 home races.
Yeah, I think it was a good pick. I think that Mercedes is really fast. I actually was thinking either Piastri or George when I was picking, but Piastri is the hot hand. He is in a really, really fast car, so that's why I went with Piastri. But I could see Kimi or George really taking a hold of this race.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, going to be it for today. We got our predictions. We got that. Yeah. That'll be it for today's podcast, unless Jack has something he wants to talk about.
Nothing racing related. I kind of a light week with the whole graduating from college side of things. You'll see my room behind me progressively get emptier if I even can have my camera on, depending on when I got to get my computer out of here. But because I'll be out and about moving and visiting family and stuff post graduation, so might see some fun backgrounds from me.
Hell yeah!
See if I could call in from Austin, Texas, I believe, in a couple weeks' time.
No, I was gonna say Austin, Texas, baby, but it's Houston, Texas.
But yeah,
all right.
No, it's good stuff.
All right, watch the racing, have fun. Oh, also, there's Formula E this week. There's Formula E, there's F2, and there's F3. So,
I pick Porsche.
Sadly, you know what? Screw it, I'll pick Porsche. Yeah.
Why? What do you mean, sadly?
Well, no, I was thinking of the World Championship right now, where Ferrari is absolutely destroying everyone.
But Formula E, Porsche's still pretty strong, right?
Formula E, Porsche's still good. Yeah, Porsche's still a top 2-3 team. So I want to go
Give me
Porsche.
That Verlaine guy, Pascal Verlaine.
Oh, love Pascal. Ex-Formula 1 driver, too. Anyway, that'll be the podcast for today. Thank you guys for watching. Next week, we'll have more. It's just that only certain races went on this week. And yeah, have an amazing day.